Welcome back to our YouTube channel. નમસ્કાર વિદ્યાર્થી મિત્રો, સ્વાગત છે તમારું આપણી YouTube channel, Gujarat Prephubમાં. Today, we are tackling one of the highest scoring topics in competitive exams, analogies or samyata. At its core, an analogy is a test of equality and comparison. We look at a pair of items, identify the invisible, logical rule connecting them, and then apply that exact same rule to solve for a missing piece. In this session, we will systematically build your skills from the ground up. We start with basic word associations, move into complex mathematical sequences, and finally map out alphabetical decoding. Success in this topic depends on your ability to isolate the specific relationship rule connecting two pieces of data. Once the rule is identified, solving for the final answer becomes a mechanical application of that logic. We begin with word analogies. This type tests your general knowledge rather than your math skills. Let's look at a country and capital question. If India pairs with New Delhi, how does Japan pair? Just as New Delhi is the capital of India, the corresponding capital of Japan is Tokyo. Let's test your science facts. If a thermometer measures temperature, what does a barometer measure? This tool measures air pressure. Analyzing the wrong answers is just as valuable. For instance, humidity is measured by a hygrometer, and this machine, a seismograph, is used to record the vibrations of an earthquake. Finally, to measure electric current, you would use an ammeter. By breaking down every option, even the incorrect ones, you actively build the general knowledge reservoir needed to instantly recognize the correct answers on your exam. Sometimes the logical link relies on language. If awake pairs with its opposite, asleep, then an antonym relationship is established. Therefore, attraction must pair with its direct opposite, repulsion. Here is where examiners lay traps. Consider this relationship. A tailor is to scissors, as a carpenter is to what? Your instinct might rush to wood or furniture. Look closely at the first pair. The scissors are the active tool the tailor uses, not the fabric they cut. A carpenter works on wood, but wood is the material. The carpenter's specific tool is a saw. Precision matters. Defining the exact nature of the relationship, specifically separating the tool from the material, allows you to bypass purposefully deceptive exam options. We now shift to mathematical logic with number analogies. To solve these quickly, you must have your squares up to 30 and your cubes up to 15 memorized. This chart outlines the priority rule. When multiple mathematical logics seem to work, you must consult this hierarchy. You test for prime numbers first, followed by cubes, then squares, then multiplication and division, and finally addition and subtraction. If 5 pairs with 25, the square rule dictates 7 pairs with 49. But let's escalate. How does 6 connect to 222? We check our cubes. 6 cubed is 216. Add 6 and you get 222. Following that exact logic, 7 cubed is 343. Add 7 back to that base number, and our final answer is 350. Standard arithmetic won't always cut it. Competitive exams rely heavily on specific algebraic patterns like this, requiring you to look past surface-level numbers. Let's test this. Here is the problem. 12 pairs with 72. How does 14 pair? Pause the video and use the priority rule to choose between two completely valid logic paths. One path uses simple multiplication. 12 times 6 is 72, so 14 times 6 is 84. But look at the second path. 12 times half of itself, which is 6, equals 72. 14 times half of itself, which is 7, equals 98. Because multiplying by a related factor involves squaring logic, it outranks a static number. 98 wins. You also need to spot consecutive patterns. If 42 is 6 times 7 and 56 is 7 times 8, the sequence continues. 72 is 8 times 9, so the missing number must be 9 times 10, or 90. When your brain recognizes multiple correct answers, the priority rule serves as the ultimate referee, keeping you from making unforced errors. This brings us to alphabet analogies. Speed here requires knowing the exact numerical position of every letter from A to Z, both forwards and backwards. The letters E, J, O, T, and Y sit at positions 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. They act as anchor points. Using them, we can decode complex patterns. For example, the 6-letter word bucket maps to a 12-letter code because each single letter splits into the letters immediately preceding and succeeding it. B becomes A and C. Sometimes the connection is spatial. If A, B, C, D maps to W, X, Y, Z, we are looking at reverse opposite letters. A pairs with Z at the end, B pairs with Y, and so on. Applying this to E, F, G, H gives us their direct opposites in reverse order, S, T, U, V. Mapping alphabetical relationships to a numerical grid replaces mental counting with a fixed reference system. Apply the logic from today's session to these 2 problems. Pause the video and solve them to see how well you've understood the different types of analogies. Drop your final answers in the comment box below. I will give a heart to the correct solutions. Here is your master cheat sheet. Take a screenshot. Combining the priority rule and EJOT anchor points covers most problems you will face. જો તમને અમારો content પસંદ આવે તો અમારી ચેનલને લાઇક કરો, કોમેન્ટ કરી દો અને તમારા CCEની તૈયારી કરતા મિત્રોને શેર કરી દો અને કોમેન્ટ સાથે સબસ્ક્રાઇબ કરવાનું બિલકુલ ના ભૂલતા, જેથી અમને આ પરીક્ષાને લગતા વધુ સારા વિડિયો બનાવવાનું પ્રોત્સાહન મળતું રહે. આભાર. Practicing with these frameworks builds the systematic approach required for speed and accuracy. Keep practicing, and we will see you in the next lesson.